Hello, hello everybody, and welcome back. We are going to be doing the Wasteseeker combat test. And we will be doing 2-6 through 2-10. We're going to try to make it through with the usual assortment of characters. That would be the Aeon. We're going to try the Cobras all the way through 2-10. That's going to take us some time. And then we'll bring T10 day 1. So, I guess we'll get started. I need to swap my fit a little bit here. I want to get the application rather than the DPS. Hey, Zim, how you doing today? I really thought that we would encounter the exterminators today. Azim, are you ready for next set of missions, the ones where I suffered greatly?
Undocking.
Can't wait to have another 8 hours of suffering. Yeah, last year hurt, didn't it? I shouldn't say last year, it was 8 months ago. That was a good time though. I was sitting there watching that back through. My goodness, we had some fun with it. Yeah, you're running railguns, right?
Warp drive active.
What are you struggling with on the Karura? Is it tracking or
We're being warp scrambled.
yeah, tracking, huh? Do you have a grappler and a web? Or do you just run a grappler? Yeah, the elites are very slippery. If I remember correctly, last year when we were running through 3-1 through 3-6, we tested having at least one barreled weapon with 2 of the regulars. So that might be something you should consider, is having a barreled railgun. Wow, even with those you're struggling, huh? Yeah, I don't remember struggling that much with the missiles, um, all the way through 210, but it was after that that we really started having some problems when we first started getting into, into the really hard stuff. Yeah, I'm honestly pretty happy with these loyal guardians. They are applying very nice damage. And they've got really nice range on them, too.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Are you running a longbow on your Karura, Azim? Hey, Snoopy, how you doing today? Yeah. So, these heavy fighters are the bomber heavy fighters. Um, they're kind of like a mix between lightweight ships, heavy fighters, and light fighters. They've got the range of like lightweight ships, but they have the health of the heavy fighters with the same kind of flight velocity. In terms of like the light fighters and stuff, they've got the same application as light fighters. Of course, they also have the option to load bombs and launch bombs. Um, Unfortunately, I can't actually do any of that in the Wasteseeker combat test. But they're very comfortable compared to the other fighters that I've had. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the combat test. I always have. Especially after having suffered so greatly last year. Or last time around, I should say. Uh, I can't launch bombs in the Wasteseeker combat test because it's considered high-sec, which is really
Docking
dumb.
request accepted.
And as for the longbow module, you said you are using the longbow, so the tracking increase doesn't really help you, huh? Oof. Hey, Forgotten, how you doing today? Good to see you.
Undocking.
Uh-oh, Snoopy. How are you at your limit? Is that with the Cobra? Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, the next one should have a capital Oh, was it 3.1 or 3.2 that had the capitalism? I think it was 3.1. I'll have
Warp
to go
drive
back and look.
active.
We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, it would be 3.1, I think. Ooh, 32% wave 2. Oof. Is that with a more active fit, or is that with your passive fit? Okay. So I think what we might do on the rattlesnakes is try to make it a active fit. So we'll swap out the... We'll swap out, I don't know. We need to swap something out. Okay, so you didn't need your group shield boosters? Then maybe I'll be fine. It's gonna take a while for the, alphas to make it through these missions. Hell, it's taking the Aeon a little bit of time compared to what it normally clears through.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad it's going on factions, but I'd rather have it on the Empire factions. Because that would make the alphas a lot of money if it did. Yeah, it's only going into the factions. It's, not going into the Empire ones. Alright, how am I gonna make it through this? Yeah, tracking is definitely a problem. Forgotten. Um, Part of that can be solved with a grappler, um, along with maybe your implant could be a little bit different. Ah, the Moros. Yeah. So you're gonna have the same problems as Azim.
Docking request
Yeah,
accepted.
Hubris won't have much of a problem, because it's got the fighters. Railgun optimal. Activation time, so yeah, there's no tracking speed increase here. My goodness. Explosion velocity on the missiles, though, for the Phoenix. Maybe that's what we run today. Maybe we run the Phoenix. Yeah, it's nice that the Karura has some flexibility on its weapon systems.
Undocking.
Okay, nothing crazy here. Wasteseeker Ghost winds are extraordinarily fast. You're definitely gonna want to have, like, a web, um, a grappler, and maybe even a scram as your mid slots. Just because those Wasteseeker Ghost winds are so fast.
Warp drive active.
We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, I'm thinking on T10 day 1, we'll run through these with the Phoenix. I think it has the best chance of applying damage to everything, and nothing is really out of range for it. Oh, really? You're having trouble killing the elites with Sea-Wiz, huh? Is that once it's fully spooled up that they're out healing it? Okay. Interesting. I'll have to keep an eye on that, because the bodyguard did not have that issue. Um, back when I first ran it through all this. Um, the issue was more applying damage with the missiles to faster ships. But Seawiz seemed to take care of most things. Are you using the versatile or the anti-ship Seawiz? Ah, that's probably why they're out healing it. Because anti-ship is gonna do, like, way better. And especially at range. You should probably consider having the anti-ship for this stuff. But you're gonna want versatile when we go to 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. To deal with the fighters and the smaller frigates.
Enemy ships detected.
Yeah, this is gonna take a really long time for the
We're
Cobras.
under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I say when we go up to the Super Capital Expert, or Capital Super Expert, whatever, versatile is gonna be way better to deal with those, but when I had the bodyguard, it did not have an issue hitting those things with the anti-ship Seawiz, so I don't know. Things have changed since then, so perhaps there's actually a reason to use the versatile in the next set. Three point two is the one where I completely ran out of capacitor, by the way, last time around. I hope they've changed the exterminators, um, to not run away as far, but I don't know. If they have not, then we're gonna have to deal with that as it comes. You're definitely gonna want, like, 2 cap batteries if you're gonna try to take 3.2 at 0. At least
Docking request accepted.
T10 Day 1 has options of going for carriers or dreadnoughts. Um, and that makes it really nice compared to the last time we did this, where I only had the, Phoenix Bodyguard.
Undocking.
Yeah, Chimera Navy is pretty cool. I really like it. Yeah, maybe. Did you end up getting rid of your hubris? Or your morals, whatever you had? Yeah.
Warp
Yeah,
drive
I'm glad
active.
T10 Day 1 has a carrier. Actually, two different carriers that we can try to make work, but...
We're being warp scrambled.
Oh no, all of your fighting skills are now in lightweight ships.
We're being warp scrambled.
That's funny. But I mean, at least you've got the Lucent Moon, so... You really don't need the hubris anymore. Lucent Moon would perform well in all of this. Yeah. The fighter damage on Hubris was really only to deal with smaller targets. It was never meant for, like, battleships and up. You hold on to that Hubris long enough and I'll end up buying it. Yeah, Seawiz pretty much takes the place of the fighters. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that the Lance is not that useful in most situations. It's really a PvP weapon. And I'm glad that Hubris actually got the Seaways option.
Enemy ships detected.
Boy, there are a lot of
We're
ships.
under attack.
Yeah, Karura, I'm glad it got the Sea Whiz as well. Pretty much all of the Dreadnoughts, I'm glad they have access to it. Yeah. It's so expensive to even try to skill into the Lance. Like, if you were trying to turn the Hubris into a PvP Dreadnought, then yeah, maybe it would be worth it. But then you've got the Sea Whiz, so maybe it's not worth it. Yeah. I mean, I'd rather kind of spend that ISK on getting better integrations, fighter skills, um, Sea Whiz skills. Some of the specialty defense skills for like shield and armor. Like there's a lot of other options you could go with by not skilling into lances. Well, so far it's going pretty good. Not really a whole lot to talk about here. Just the Aeon doing what it does. Damn, look at the tank on that thing. Yeah, those bomber fighters are really nice. I think that them having that 50-kilometer optimal range, um, really works out in their favor for tracking and damage.
Docking request accepted.
Oh god. Are you really gonna consider putting 3P80 with T4 rigs? Okay, so this will be the last mission of the set for today for the Aeon. This is 3210. Running at 300 faction merits, 41,000 loyalty points, and an award voucher which I have no idea how to use.
Undocking.
This Wasteseeker Boulder, those guys are kinda high damage. Waste Runner Boulder as well. Oh, what? What comment? I missed it. I'll have to look at it.
Warp drive active.
The nice part about this Wasteseeker combat test is that you can really fit your ship pretty heavily one way or the other.
We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, we're definitely going in with the alphas today. My current fit is going to be the shield extender, damage control, 1 yellow, 3 reds, and a VAT drone damage amplifier with the 3 group shield boosters. Okay, we'll keep an eye out in here. See if there's something in particular. Yeah, that seems a little kind of crazy. So that one's got the same stuff. That one's fine as well. It may have had quite good reps. Was it the last ship that you were killing? Yeah, the main struggle for today is going to be the alphas. I was debating whether I moved to T10 day 1 first. Yeah, it's just reps. Okay. Well, just know the Aeon is getting revenge for you.
Enemy
Hey,
ships
wave 2.
detected. We're under attack.
That one had a shield extender. The Wasteseeker Scorcher. See if we can trigger another shield extender. Yeah, I mean, it's good that we have Star Melody to try to clear out all the small stuff. It's gonna make a huge difference. So I'm really thinking that, on the alphas, by the time we hit Tech 10, I should have just enough to get a Lucent Moon with lightweight ships. But it would only be one lucent moon. I don't think they could afford an anaconda, and a hangar on top of that. Whereas the lucent moon, we just get the hull for 50 billion, and then the hangar for another 30. We can worry about the shield defense operation later on. I do have the Star Melody nanocore for Lucent Moon available on the alphas. So maybe that's the best option. Alright, T10, not too bad for the Aeon. There's a lot of damage there.
Docking request accepted.
So, kinda interesting. You have gained access to Capital Expert Difficulty. How much loyalty points do I have now? Almost a million. And what am I on this character? We're a sergeant on this character. Almost lieutenant. But we're finally a sergeant for the faction side of things, too. Is there anything in particular that I should actually try to get? I could probably get this and try to get that for the Lucent Moon. Let me quickly check the notes about that T10. Oh, hell. Hey! Okay, I don't see anything new there. On the upper part of the screen? Okay. Well, that's a good tip. Okay. So, I guess my question is, do I go for T10 day 1 first? and then we slog through with the alphas. Because it is going to take the alphas like 2 hours to try to blast through these, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead and do T10 day 1 first. Um, at least my goal right now with the alphas is to reach 210. I don't think they're going to do anything higher than that. That is, if we can make it to 210, I'll be satisfied with their performance. What capital ship do we want to see today? Of course. Gotta reload blue stacks. So we have the option of Chimera, Midhogger, Revelation, Phoenix, and Naglfar. I'm thinking Phoenix will make this fairly easy. Along with Chimera. I think the Chimera would be a good choice too. You want to see Naglfar?
Docking request accepted.
Right. We are looking for... Why does it not like it? Naglfar doesn't have the tracking bonus. It's activation time and um damage. The only tracking bonus it gets is from its implant. I'm trying to get this loaded up.
Docking request accepted.
There we go. We're slowly getting into the game. Damn, that chimera looks so good. So do you still want the knuckle for? I need to change my settings here, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we already know the fighters are gonna do okay. Seawiz should do alright. I think I need to grab a grappler. Plenty of fuel. I've got plenty of cap battery. I don't need this. So I really should have a yellow on here.
Undocking.
Okay. What's nice is that there's no chat here.
Warp drive active.
I gotta make sure I turn this on.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Yep, we're gonna let the Seawers handle everything else while we handle the battleships and the other stuff. Here we've got 2 more of those to lock onto. Kinda wish I had the grappler.
We're being warp scrambled.
Ooh. Got you some good bolognese. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab...
Docking request accepted.
Let's go ahead and grab a grappler. Does this have my grappler? It does have my grappler.
Undocking. Warp drive active.
We're being warp scrambled.
Okay. That sounds pretty good. Gonna take a minute to slow that guy down. Yeah, having a grappler really does make a difference.
We're being warp scrambled. Oh boy, we nailed him. Yeah, 41,000. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, so the more that these things slow down, the better off we're gonna be. I really should have something like a predator stasis modifier so I can have like 15 kilometers on this web. But it's not necessary. Even something like an interruptive would have 14.2 instead of 13.6. Yeah, that grappler makes a huge difference. It may not affect them right away to the point where you can kill them, but as it cycles and adds more web strength up to a maximum of 75%, you're gonna find that you can actually hit things. It just might take a little while to actually hit that maximum speed reduction.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Okay, so we're targeting that scavenger scorched land down there. Hmm, 32,000 hit. I will say, fighters really do make this a lot easier for carriers. Aw, yeah, that's a good day right there, Snoopy. Yeah, if I had the Predator rifle fire, we would be looking at webbing that battleship at 15 kilometers. Now that guy. Yeah, even trying to get the proper tracking on a battleship is very difficult. I'd like to hit for more than like 5,000. That would be really nice. There we go. We're getting there. Alright. Yeah, I think I'm gonna swap it over to the Phoenix.
Docking request accepted.
I want to see how the Phoenix does compared to what my Phoenix bodyguard did. Yeah, it would have taken like a lot longer without the grappler. We're still not 440 on the Phoenix. So that's a little unfortunate. We're currently working with much worse skills. That needs to be a grappler. One nice thing about the Phoenix is that it has an extra mid slot, so it can fit all of those modules. Alright, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'm thinking the Phoenix is probably one of the few basic dreadnoughts that could actually get away with fitting one of every mid-slot that it needs. It could have the longbow module here. And just have its full setup. Got plenty of fuel. No, wait, Okay, warhead charge.
Undocking.
So we're gonna have 4 battleships to deal with and 3 battle cruisers. Yeah, I do love the Phoenix. It is a nice ship. Yeah, you can fit longbow on a standard dread. It'll take some power grid, but... So you might have to drop, like, a shield booster or something. But yeah, you can fit a longbow on a standard dread.
Warp drive active.
Alright.
We're being warp scrambled.
Okay, so that's all of our targets that we'll focus on first. And I need to go for application here. Last time we went through this, we had a level 30 implant, and we were utilizing the thermal warheads at 3.1 and up instead of the application. Oh man, this is so much easier with barreled missiles. So right now we're choosing to reduce our missile damage by 15%. but we're also reducing the explosion radius by 26.67% with our current implant. Yeah, I'm gonna try to run a few different capital ships through these. Preferably, when we get to 210, and we've had a little bit of time, I would like to do a video of each dreadnought running 210, and how well they do. I know it's not exactly a fair comparison for all of the ships, because I have implants that are better or worse than others. But it would be a nice comparison. The only problem is I need to get myself a Moros to show off the Moros and the Archon and the Thanatos. But the Chimera, the Nidhogger, the Archon, and the Thanatos are pretty much going to be the same thing. Whereas each of the Dreads are going to have a different fit to deal with it. It's the same basic idea, but implants are going to be different. Mid slots are going to be a little bit different depending on how many mid slots there are. Yeah, the Dreads will have different results. The carriers are going to be so similar to each other, I don't know if it's really worth it, other than to show the difference between a DPS carrier and a tank carrier. So it would be the difference between flying the Chimera or the Nidhogger. Yeah. I think that would be a reasonable comparison for the carriers. I need to get my hands on the fighter flight velocity module to show off the DPS carrier though. Yeah, honestly, I don't feel like the Phoenix is gonna
Enemy
suffer
ships
in the
detected.
sub-capital missions.
We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, the barrel of missiles really work out quite nicely here.
We're being warp scrambled.
What kind of range am I working with on these missiles, by the way? 45. That is actually really good. You know, I should try the the Naglfar with the barreled cannons. Last time we just used the regular autocannons. Yeah, so long as we don't run into an exterminator, we're fine. Running with the Naglfar and the barreled autocannons. I should try that again. Because last mission we did, was with the regular autocannons. Why is this one at, like, 500 meters? That's weird. He just wanted to come up and touch my ship. Or, the Wasteseekers decided they couldn't do anything to me, so he wanted to run up and scratch my paint. Yeah, I feel like we made it through the second wave really quick. Yeah, every shot landed. It's one of the many reasons I really like missiles.
Docking request accepted.
Okay, let's go ahead and try that Naglfar again. Ah! We're gonna go off a stage. Oh, that's plenty of fall off. I don't know what I was worried about. We're gonna have 3.4 tracking. It should be a lot better.
Undocking.
Okay, nothing crazy here. What kind of tracking do we have now? So we're gonna have 38 fall off with 4.2 tracking. That should be enough to make it reliable.
Warp drive active.
I don't know what kind of damage it's gonna do though.
We're being warp scrambled.
Our damage seems fine. Actually, damage seems pretty good, actually. We're being warp scrambled. Yeah, we're actually tracking everything just fine.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
The damage is a little low per hit, but the activation time makes it much better. Talking about a 5-second activation time.
We're being warp scrambled.
Okay, let me move my target painter over to the Wasteseeker Ghost. Obviously, the anti-ship is having trouble with it. There we go. Yeah, honestly, I would consider this maybe even the same as the Phoenix. In terms of, like, damage to ships and application. It seems pretty much the same as the Phoenix. The activation time feels really good.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, it really does feel pretty good. There's definitely moments where the weapon doesn't deal reliable damage, but the activation time makes up for that.
We're being warp scrambled.
Jitter CCTV.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
I swear, I think Jitter just keeps my stream up in the background, even when I'm not streaming, so he can be the first one here. He's gotta make up for those 3 Eve Echo streams that he wasn't a part of right at the beginning of my channel. You know, this feels really good, this Naglfar, with this setup. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for the research core on the Concord Pass. I know it won't get AI, and I know it won't get Gold Core, but it is, like, stat-wise, an extra 1.5% better on each stat than the Blue Nanocore. But it would make it really easy now for me to put a nanocore on each of these dreads without having to spend the ISK. You just want a core for your Karura. That's so true. Yeah, it'll be really nice to have that. So I guess we're flying the Revelation next, huh? Are we going barreled Revelation or pulse laser Revelation? I think barreled would make sense. Considering what we're seeing here, I think the barreled would do a lot better. Yeah, it will definitely take a while with pulse lasers. It's not like it couldn't be done, because, the multi-frequency crystal implant, doubles your tracking when it's active. The only downside to the multi-frequency crystal, is that when it's not being used on activation, you're losing 30% of your, tracking. Yeah, it's quite harsh. Of course, that's completely dependent on level for your implant. Alright. Let's go fit up the rev.
Docking request accepted.
No. No. Okay, this is kind of the same fit. We've got quite low, DPS right now. So I'm thinking... What am I thinking for this low slot? We could go like a damage control, or like I could throw on a shield reactive to try to make my shields last a lot longer before I actually have to start thinking about repairing my ship. It's a little bit of a weird fit. Not many people would consider that. Yeah, we can go for a fourth red. Not that we really need it. I have got to get some dormant realms. Yeah, so right now I'm only losing about 5% of my tracking. But when I turn it on, I'm gonna get like double my tracking speed.
Undocking.
Yeah, this is kind of the same fit as the, Phoenix, isn't it? The Phoenix had a very similar fit to what I've got going on here. I don't even need the second target painter. I'm not really sure why I have it here, other than the fact that I just don't have a scram sitting around. So I need to pick up some scramblers
Warp drive
at
active.
some point.
We're being warp scrambled.
Oh, lots of smaller ships this time around. Okay. No, I have the second rep for when I'm flying around in space. So now we're gonna have a tracking speed of 5.17 with these while this activation is going on.
Shield damaged.
Yeah, the Revelation has a sort of unique problem here that its main damage type, which is EM and thermal. Actually, it should be EM and thermal, right? Yeah. Main damage type EM is like the strongest resistance these things have. Hundred 108,000 rep in one cycle between the two repairers. I would have to go down to pretty much half shield before before I would heal once. Not half shield, half armor, you know what I mean. I would have to go down to pretty much half armor to get the full use out of my repairs. I love dreadnoughts. They're so stupid and fun. Like, could you imagine that on a battleship? How broken that would be? And that's why we have things like the Hyperion. Okay, so here comes the hard part, hitting smaller, faster ships. Jitter's here. He comes in swinging the van hammer. What a legend. Okay, I'm gonna turn on my doubled tracking. Yeah, that makes a difference. Doubling my tracking speed allowed me to hit this waste runner, even when it's moving that slow. Hey, we're finally at the point where I can get one full cycle of healing out. That's gonna be a lot harder to hit. But at least I've got Sea-Wiz. A hundred and... Between the two of them, they're doing 108,000. That's one repair, which is 54. Actually, I think we're at like 109 or 110.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
So I'm gonna let my armor go down pretty low this time around. I kinda wanna see 3 cycles of my repairers. I wonder if I can get 3 cycles out of the cap battery or not. So don't mind me.
We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, we pretty much need to be down to like 20% for us to see this. Yeah, I think 20% should be reasonable. We should get a armor alarm at like 30% or something like that. I don't even have my resistance modules on. It's okay, Jenner. When you hear the alarm, it's not you, it's me. Yeah, the only resistance I have here right now is coming from the damage control. And the rigs. Should be getting pretty close to that armor alarm.
Armor damaged.
There it is. Actually, let's go lower than 20. Why not? Okay, let's get ready for repairs. Yeah, so I can get 4 full reps out of a cap battery. I love it. It's so stupid. Mind you, this is just a regular Revelation. You still have the Revelation Bodyguard and Bane, which are a lot better than this thing. I don't have any general units. Yeah, that is one of the greatest things I ever learned from EVE Online PvP in Threads. Bait tanking is one of the most fun and stupid things you could ever do. It's one of the many reasons why I want the repairs that use fuel instead of capacitor. Because that would be incredibly fun. Yeah, the ancillary armor repairer and ancillary shield rep. Very cool modules. I love them. I really hope we do get those modules in EVE Echoes. Alright.
Docking request accepted.
What do we want to see next? What ship? We're on 210 now. We've seen the Phoenix, the Rev, the Naglfar twice. I kind of want to run the Nagafar in there. But I also want to run the Chimera. Hmm. God dang it, I skipped through the message again. I meant to read that.
Undocking.
Enemy ships detected.
Do I really need this network sensor array, though? Hmm.
Warp drive active.
We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, they're doing alright. I wonder where my ship's defense will fail on this Chimera. Yeah. Yeah, that might be where this thing fails. That's for sure. I love having to constantly um change my game settings because I keep going between ships that I don't want to orbit or I don't want to auto attack with to ships that I want to orbit and auto attack and all that. We've already been going for about 3 hours, getting through the Aeon, all of the dreads. I don't even want to know how long it's gonna take these Cobras to get through, if they even make it through. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, whether or not I want to do a alpha only stream for the Wasteseekers. It would be like tomorrow or Wednesday of next week. I'm not sure. Because that is definitely going to take them a while. Look how comfortable the Chimera is. Like, it doesn't care what it's shooting at. It doesn't care what's shooting at it. Yeah, even with Star Melody, it's gonna be hard on the Cobras. My hope is that, Star Melody will remove a large portion of DPS, and our passive tank will hold from there. I just don't know for sure. Snoopy's using the Star Melody as well. But Snoopy's also got 400,000 EHP more than I do. And about 2,000 more DPS than I do. That one's pretty tanky. I'll tell you what. We're actually having some trouble applying damage to that. Interesting. Okay, we'll change targets here. Maybe there's like a Logi on grid that I don't know of. Yeah, I wonder if that is an elite.
We're
Yeah,
being warp
that's...
scrambled.
Those two are the elites. Interesting. And that's just a cruiser. Yeah, what I'm hoping here is that the Waste Runner boulder is healing the Waste Runner ruins, which is why it's getting so much health back. It's also very possible that Waste Runner Ruins has a yellow resistance module, and that's why we're only doing like 300 damage a hit. But it is moving very fast. No, that one's not moving fast. It's the other one that's running pretty fast. Wow, these guys are definitely tanky. So to give you an idea, this Chimera is currently outputting about 6,500 DPS. With this setup. And we pretty much could not break the tank of the Waste Runner Ruins. For whatever reason. We'll see what happens now that we've cleared out all of its help. See what kind of DPS we can actually do to it now. Oh boy. That is a tough cookie to crack. I feel like as soon as we get through that shield, wow, that thing has a lot of tank. We're just barely out DPSing the heals that it has. Nope, never mind. It is actually now out healing our damage. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think we can actually break this tank as it sits.
Docking request accepted.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't have nearly as much DPS as a Cyan.
Undocking.
Let's see if the Naglfar can do it. Now, I wonder if part of that was just him moving fast enough to get out of the explosion velocity of my fighters. And maybe a grappler would have made a difference.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
He moves pretty good. There we go, my guns are finally starting to hit. There we go. He's actually gonna out-heal, because I can't hit him. This is with barreled weapons. 3.8 tracking. Yeah, the 5 tracking disruptors are really doing a good job here. Alright, so we got him there.
Docking request accepted.
Yeah, it
Undocking.
may be that the grappler
Enemy
is
ships
the
detected.
difference between killing him and not.
Warp drive active.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Okay, let's see what we do to the Waste Runner Ruiner. We're gonna give it time to ramp up the grappler. 800. There we go. So what we really had to focus on was having that grappler. Because now we're actually out damaging him. Yeah, that made a huge difference. Wow. Previously, yeah, explosion velocity kind of worked well with the grappler and made it work out. Well, that's my full thoughts on the grappler is, if you're doing this event, make sure you have one. Because otherwise, there's gonna be ships that you can't even think to damage. So, thinking about the next set of missions, I think every ship is gonna have to run the larger turrets, the the capital autocannons or capital beam lasers instead of the barreled weapons, just in order to break the tank of that one Quietus Thanatos. You remember the one that healed a lot? Yeah, your Cyan, I think, has spider explosion velocity skills. If I remember correctly, it has something like that. But you really should have a grappler on your Cyan. I'm definitely gonna have to put, like, a grappler on the Aeon at some point during all of this. I just don't know when it's gonna be. Yeah, you could use it for the small ships around you, though. But I guess most of those are gonna be, within range anyway. For, like, a web. Actually, do you think we're gonna be outside of aggro range? Because the new, the new aggro range on everything is like 250 or 500, right? So you've tested it with the new aggro range? Making sure that they don't do anything stupid. Awesome. Gotcha. Well, at least you've got some good testing behind it. Oh, but that's in the lab. Is that the same for the Wasteseekers, though? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know if this Wasteseeker test changed anything in terms of that. Because there might have been, like, shadow buffs or whatever to these Wasteseekers. Yeah, it'd be a good idea to have full information on that. This takes a little while.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
13 elites in this wave.
We're being warp scrambled.
For all we know, they could still have the old 250-kilometer range. Which would be very interesting. Wow, that healing on that Savannah. Uh-huh, I see you. I see that, Logi. There's another Logi in here? Hey, note to self, kill anything that's a scavenger rover, because it is a Logi battle cruiser. I meant to turn that off. Almost to the end here. Oh good, we maxed out our Concord Pass for the week on the Alphas. Below 500 before rats start locking. Cool. Good information. We can probably use that to our advantage with the Nidhogger. This guy's pretty tanky as well, this Wasteseeker Ruin. Yeah, I've got the cat batteries, but I need the fighter micro warp drive module. Man, this takes a good long time. We're at 35% capacity because of all the Nosferatus and neutralizers that we've been encountering so far. Oh, and the Grappler also takes a lot of gigajoules. I think that's kind of similar to the amount these take. Ooh, these take a lot more than the grappler. Yeah, I don't know if the Cobras are actually gonna make it through 210. I think 2-9 is gonna be where they end up. Yeah. We're so, like, minimal skill right now. It makes it really hard. Uh, good question. We are using purple aerospace, but we're only like level 20, right? No, I'm only like level 10 on the purple aerospace input. I need to drag this character through a few more dormant realms. Chimera did make it through past the pit though, which is nice. I definitely do not think the Chimera would do this in the super capital, in the capital super expert missions. Why didn't they just name it Capital Master? or master capital. Alright, now it's just a fact of blasting through the last 5 ships. And yeah, I think we're gonna do the alphas another day. They're gonna take forever. Maybe not even forever, maybe infinite. In the very least, I think the alphas can make it to 2.9, and I don't know if they can make it through 2.9 or 2.10 in their current form. Like, if a Chimera with 7,000 DPS is struggling, then the Cobras are gonna struggle. Let's see here. The Chimera has very similar tank without the thing, so they've already torn through 150,000 or so, 140,000. We're back on that tank character again. Gotta wait for the grappler to spool up on him before we can beat that tank. Lightweight ships really would not have that bad of a time doing this, because you'd have the weaponifiers from the destroyers, or the frigates, and the scrams. It would really slow a lot of things down and allow you to apply full damage. That's a weird armor extender. It is hilarious how easy the Aeon makes this. And as it should be, correct. I would love to see what Jitter's Midgard could do to the last mission. I think that would be very interesting to see. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, it put my bodyguard through the ringer on that last mission. So I really do wonder what a Midgard could do, or the Aeon in that, if they were sitting at 0. I think it would be very
Docking
interesting.
request accepted.
Alright. I think that's where I'm going to call it for today. We have been very successful. But I am now tired. We've been going for about 4 hours. We did a mixture of all the different capitals I have. Maybe I'll go back and at some point and do like one run of 210 with every capital ship I own. Although many of them are going to be very similar to each other. Sounds like a little bit of fun. But that'll be after we probably complete the last mission. Anyway, thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate it. You guys are super awesome. I really cannot thank you enough. So thank you. I will see you guys on the next one. Probably tomorrow? Not really sure. Take care and be safe.